Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. So, we continue our reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, observing the armies, Sainya Darshan in Sanskrit. And today we will discuss the shloka number 25. So yesterday we saw, we read that Krishna took the rath in between the two armies as requested by Arjuna. And we talked about the relationship and also the meaning of Rishikesh and Gudakesh. So today we continue from there that Krishna is taking the rath in the middle of the two armies. So let us chant the shloka. Bhishma-Drona Pramukhatah
Bhishma-Drona Pramukhtah
Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam
Sarveksham cha Mahikshitam
Uvacha Partha Pashetan
Uvachya Parth Pashyetam
Samavetan Kuruniti
Samavetan Kuruniti
Bhishma-Drona Pramukhatah
Bhishma-Drona Pramukhtah
Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam
Sarveshcham Mahikshitam
Vacha Partha Pashetan
Uvachya Parth Pashyetam
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Samavetan Kuruniti.
Is the chant.
Bhishma-Drona Pramukhtah Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyetan Samavetan Kuruniti.
Bhishma-Drona Pramukhatah Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pasyetan Samavetan Kuruniti.
Anybody else want to try? Okay, so let us read the translation and purport. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold Parth, all the Kurus assembled here." Purport. As the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what's going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of word Rishikesh in this connection indicates that he knew everything, and the word Parth, meaning the son of Prutha or Kunti, is also similarly significant in this, in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Prutha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he agreed to be charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Prutha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by Lord in friendly joking. So we can see Krishna, yesterday we discussed that Krishna took the rath in between the armies of the Kaurav and Pandav. And now he's saying, just see Bhishma and Drona and also all other soldiers. So looks like the rath is, because the armies are very big, but looks like their chariot is in vicinity of Bhishma and Drona. And that's why they are emphasized. And Then he says also all other soldiers. And here Krishna addresses Arjuna as Parth. So this is the first time Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita after 25 shlokas. These are the first sentence that he has spoken to Arjuna. So here he has mentioned as Parth, the son of Prutha. Means Prutha is the another name of Mother Kunti, Arjuna's mother. And Kunti is Vasudev's sister, and Vasudev is Krishna's father. So Kunti or Prutha is aunt or auntie of Krishna. So he is specifying the relationship, and also the another purpose is to mention the name of Kunti Devi, who is a celebrated devotee of Lord and very Kshatriya woman and brave woman. So he's addressing and reminding Arjuna about their relationships and the expectation from him. So here, Pramukha means Bhishma and Drona are the Pramukh. The translation literally is in front of, but Pramukha, one of the meaning of the Sanskrit is also the main. So Bhishma and Drona are the main fighters from the Kaurav Sena. Bhishma was the commander for 10 days and Drona was for 5 days. So almost, and remaining 3 days Karna and others were there. But most of the time these two were the commanders of the Kaurav Sena and they are the main fighters. So if we think from Arjuna's point of view, Arjuna learned all his skills from Dronacharya as his guru, and he learned about the warfare or skills about war and arrangements, army arrangements, etc., from Bhishma. And Arjuna was Dronacharya's most favorite student always. So Arjuna had special affection for Bhishma and Drona both. And so Krishna in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that Krishna understood the mind of Arjuna. Right. So what does this mean is uh, Arjuna's request to Krishna that take the rath in between the armies, and or the next request that I want to see who has come here to fight against me, and I also want to see with whom I have to fight. But actually lot of trials has been already, efforts has been already put to avoid this battle between Kaurav and Pandav. And after all the efforts, now they are standing on the battle, and Arjuna was part of all the happenings. So all the sufferings that Pandav has, Arjuna has was equally involved in all the uh, incidents or situations when Pandavas have suffered. And also, after the peace talks were ruled out, then when the military formation and military planning and everything was discussed, Arjuna was also there. So Arjuna already knew all these things that he wanted to see. But his request at this point, because Arjuna has already taken the bow and arrows in hand, and this request from Arjuna at this stage of the war is also surprising or not expected by Krishna also. And but he understood, because he's Rishikesh, last look he was is mentioned Rishikesh, he knew Arjuna's mind that he want to see his people, and that will increase his compassion for them, and seeing all the relatives and everybody around us. And he also wanted to see if these relatives are, how much they are prepared for this war. Are they 100% prepared to lay their life in this war? And that is one of the point that Arjuna wanted to see. But from Krishna's point of view, we can also understand that he knew everything, but still he had requested Krishna that I want to see. So that's why Srila Prabhupada in this purport, the last sentence, the mind of Arjuna was predicted by Lord in a friendly joking. So because Arjuna requested, I want to see the fighters or soldiers or those who are in the Kaurav Sena. From Krishna's point of view, Arjuna already knew all these things, and he's well aware of the situation and the army, but still he wants to see. So Krishna agreed. So like sometimes the child asks for some toy that is already at a home, but in the shop he wants to see that toy, and then the parents say, okay, okay, you want to see, okay, go see. What now? That type of thing, like, okay, Arjuna, you want to see, okay, you see. And so he is telling, just behold that, just be aware that all these gurus assembled here, and he specifically mentioned Bhishma and Drona. So Krishna somehow or rather, as the controller of the senses, understood that Arjuna is on the verge of being compassionate or affectionate in this war before the start of the fight. So we can also understand this scenario if we are in the assembly of people, right? And there are people, there are always people whom we like or on whom we are angry or whom we don't like in certain situations because of some past experience. So if you go to a function, for example, and there you are going to give a speech, or you just go there and you find there are few people whom you don't like or with whom you are angry, or there is some problem between you and that particular people, then in that all the gathering, you will always try to avoid those people whom you don't like. Even if you see them, you will pretend that you have not seen them and you try to ignore, but you are always thinking to avoid them. Similarly, if there are somebody in the gathering with whom you are very friendly and you get along with them very well, then you try to focus on them. You be around them, you talk with them, you ask them, you serve them. So this is very natural that to whom we have affection, our attention goes there. And for people whom we don't like or for whom we have some difference of opinions, we try to avoid those in this gathering. So if you see, Arjuna also is focusing on Bhishma and Drona, for whom he has affection rather than fighting. And fighting, there is no mention of Duryodhan here, because from Arjuna's point of view, he is not considering of the uh, rivalry or whatever he has done to Arjuna in the past, but he is more taken over by the affection of or attraction of Bhishma and Drona because of the past relationships. So in our life also, we have all these experiences, how we try to avoid people we don't like, and how we focus on people whom we know very well or they support us. So the similar situation we face every time, and that is the revelation of what is going on inside us. What is your in the mind that comes out by our actions, and those actions are visible to people who are intelligent enough. Like Krishna understood what is going on in the mind of Arjuna, and he understood about the affection and what Arjuna is looking for. So our actions also generally uh, are visible to all other people. We think we are very good enough and nobody will notice us, but uh, our body language, our actions, it makes it very clear, our behavior. So this is very natural phenomena that happens to us. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna in all the many places he says we try to be equal, try to be equal, because this affection and avoiding or hatred or difference of opinion, these two things, repression and attraction, this, if we get caught in these two things, then all our life will be less to divide whom we like and whom we don't like, in everything, not only people, in things also, in any, like what, which car I like, which house I like, which house I don't like, which book I like, which books I don't like, food, everything we can say like and dislike, and this is unlimited. And because of the modes that we are in, this becomes very visible to everyone. So that's why being equal and positively thinking of the difference of opinions is also very important, because that affects us indirectly. And similarly, the same thing is happening with Arjuna, and Krishna can understand that Arjuna's mind, he read and he understand that something is going in that direction. So here now Krishna understood, and there will be some description of what Arjuna saw in this. And what we discussed today, that his affection and compassion will be visible, and then Arjuna will ask questions to Krishna from that angle, which is all actually not required for Kshatriya on a war front, because all the peace trials and everything has been already finished now. But still he is going into that situation. So that we will see from tomorrow, what Arjuna sees and how he feels. Okay, so these are some points that we can learn from this verse. Of verse is important, but also how it applies to ourselves in our day-to-day life also important. So whatever in our mind, it is reflected in our actions. So controlling the mind, that's why is very important. Any other points or reflections or questions? Please feel free to share. Mahikshita means also the king or chief. Means all are the kings on the Guru side. Vachapartha Pashaita Samavetant Karuniti. Okay, thank you very much for joining. And
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, we will continue.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.